Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's get started. It's been a while. Oh, it's been a while. We are going to attempt to automate our entire pipeline in terms of um, generating a resume tailored to the job. Uh, let's see what else. Um, Creating a fetching jobs, creating a resume for each job, and then applying for the job. So it's kind of like in three pieces. Uh, but yeah. All right. So let's start off. Let's do this. So share screen. Screen one. Okay. And then we'll just do that. Okay. We'll close that out and we'll close that out. And we'll close this out. And we don't need this either. ServiceNow will come back later. And as far as Indeed goes, we'll come back to that as well. Okay, and close this on out too. And this is for our templates for a different purpose. All right, so when it comes to um, let's see. So if we want to create like a workspace for like our career stuff, there are, I don't want to say there's a lot of things, a lot of background information to give you guys. But I do want these as two separate workspaces. Okay. So we're going to start off with a technical support technician. So kind of like MSP roles. And MSP stands for a managed service provider. We can close this on that. We don't need that. Um, and these are our jobs here. Okay. So here in our references for, no, okay, I guess we don't have them there. Thought I did. Let me make sure. Okay, I guess I don't. Did I really? So what I'm looking for are some zip files, that basically GitHub repos for a project that fetches the jobs and stuff like that. And there's another repo that kind of um, how do I want to say uh, grades it, right? It grades your resume against um, a job description. Okay. I guess I don't have it. Hold on, let me make sure. Is it in solutions? No. No. Damn. Is it here? No, it's not. Okay. But oh, yeah, I do. Put it in the wrong folder. We'll make a copy of all this. Okay, so Agent Reach. Agent Reach is kind of like for scraping. And Scrappling is more, well, Scrappling's for scraping and Agent Reach is for automation. There is alternatives that we can do. So for instance, we have Grokbot now that aims, if it works as advertised, and we have yet to see, it can take our resume, read the resume, and sort of fill out the application for us. So that's, I think alone is going to be worth it, but we'll see. All right, let's extract it here. And on top, like the Super Grok Heavy, you also get the cursor stuff. And the great thing about like the Grok stack is that it's a one-stop shop, right? It does videos, it does um I don't know if it does audio by itself, but with the videos it comes with audio, and then you get Grok 4.6, and then also you get images. So that may be worth it. We'll see. Okay. And so we'll just extract this again. Okay, no files to extract. Okay. And then here, so now the point of our architecture, not to keep it or not to make this technical, and then we'll just take our project folder here. So the point of this folder-based sort of agentic architecture is that it's supposed to route its way through these folders. So kind of like if you were walking the library and you don't know where to go, the very first place you go is ask the librarian at the front desk where such and such is, and they'll direct you. So our agents.md is kind of like the librarian at the front desk, right? Depending on what you're trying to accomplish, it will direct you to wherever you need to go, right? And so the agent, Claude Code or Opus 5.6, excuse me, 5.0 or Fable 5 will traverse the folder tree, meaning that it will go through each folder or it'll go through a specific folder depending on what's in agents.md, right? The point is to not have it go through all the folders because that uses up context. Things being in your context window that's not necessary, and so on and so forth. So we put up our project folder here, and these are kind of like rules that are set up um, for this project folder. Never put anything belonging to another project in a folder, and never put project assets anywhere else. Um, Never put anything belonging to in this folder. Okay. This was generated by Fable 5. Temp is disposable, permanent is production. If a script we run again, it belongs to permanent. Research is derived from references. Never a copy of it. Research is derived from uh, the references folder. Oh, excuse me, the research folder, because we do have a folder dedicated to research. From the research folder, references refer to um, GitHub repos and other assets meant to assist with solution creation. Um, I don't know what the never copy of it, but whatever. A project without workflow flow is unfinished before shipping, for docs at the okay. So the purpose of the workflows folder is to sort of do different things, right? So let's say if we had um, resume writing, right? And then we have another one for let's see, job scraping. And then we have another one for resume grading, right? There may be other workflows, but we'll get there. And so we're going to cd into this folder here. And then we'll do this. Let me see how many. I don't know why I'm at 1% when I haven't used it all day. I think it's cheating me. I do. Why did I open up Codex? Oh, bypass. Okay, I got you. Different command. And then fast pace will slide you down here and down here. Okay. And I do trust. And then we are going to have VSC open. Let's go ahead and close out of Chrome since we don't need it for now. And we're going to open, I need my kickbacks extension running. Make sure, so they think they're slick. They'll turn off the extended mode. What? Isn't open yet? It unlocks right here when launched? See, that was weird, right? Whatever. You just got to stay on top of that because the boosted mode pays a lot more than the regular mode. Anyways, um, as far as sort of, and we do that so we can run ads. And then we have our amount down here. Okay. So our first order of business is sort of like the job scraping. We have a solution for that. This is our, and I need to save this file. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, so the purpose of this repo is to kind of set up a workspace where Kenny can um, craft his resumes. He can test out his resumes. He can grade them He can grade them against a given job description, and he can also um, automate his uh, job applications. And also, if he wants to training, stuff like that as well. Um, yeah. All right. So let's clean this up. Of this repo. Set up. And of course, the Windows H shortcut key transcriber is not great, but it works. He can craft his resume. Um, he can test out his resumes. He can grade them based. He can grade against them. He can grade against a given job description. Probably should have just wrote this out. And he can also automate his job applications. And also, if he wants to train if he wants to train on technical support engineering, concepts, ideas, etc., he can do that as well. This doesn't need to be a great prompt, initial prompts. We just have to kind of get started here. So let's go ahead and close out the ages.md file. And then since we're already in our project root folder, we could just go and say read ages.md. I am tempted to use the Grokbot because Grokbot may be able to handle the automation purpose, but let's see if we can do it without using Grokbot. No ages.md exists in this workspace. What folder am I in? Technical support. What are you talking about? Case sensitive, no ages.md file here. The routing file in this workspace is route.md, reading it plus plan. What are you talking about? Because I know I'm not blind. Yeah, the file's right there. The hell are they talking? Anyways, all right. Yes, fill in. So we're going to do that as well. Get 3 workflow folders. Yep. So there's no build work to route yet. Yep. All right. And we'll see if 5.0 can do this. It should be able to. I mean, we're just walking file trees and stuff like that. All right. And then once we're done with this, we'll get into, oh, we're already done. All right. I wrote what I wrote is a plan for work that doesn't yet exist. Every track for okay. So we're going to start. Our first workflow is going to be based on career ops repo that's in the double underscore references folder. And that's going to be kind of like our repo to sort of like fetch jobs. The last time I had this running, it was on a hard drive that is dead now. There was a cron job that fetches jobs at a certain time of day. It was at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if I want to. Well, I do want to have that run up again, but we're not going to run install that cron job yet. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of like create a workflow around that repo. So that's going to be our job fetching repo. Uh, and so yeah, we're going to be using career ops for that. So let's go ahead and get that wired up, and then take a look in that repo, and then see if there's any other things that we want to wire up for that workflow. So the first, in terms of like the full route, um, job fetching is going to be our first workflow that's always going to be ran because we can't do anything else if there's no jobs to compare it to. And I don't want to fill up context with stuff we're not going to use yet. So that's all I say for now. Okay, so now that that's gone, And of course, this this file routing architecture is basically having an agent traverse your folder tree to where you're not um, it'll cut down on like variance because the agent wouldn't need to read a bunch of files it doesn't need to. It just goes where it needs to and then do the work it needs to. Okay, this is a large system, 180 root scripts, a COPS CLI, and its own data contract, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. We don't care, right? So the repo, in this instance, the workspace, the job fetching workspace is standalone. So everything that we need our job fetching workflow to do will be contained in this folder, and that will be job scraping, actually, not job fetching. So everything we need to do to retrieve jobs right now or in the future, because we can add to the workflows or add to the context.md file located in the jobs scraping um, workflow folder, will be in that file. And so now the very first thing we need to do is how are we going to get the jobs, right? Once we take care of that, then we can get to like the profile building and the resume writing, right? Once we build our profile, then we can uh, use the profile, fetch the information from that profile, and then modify it or alternate or add to it or delete based on the job description. And of course, we'll be using different models for that because Anthropic doesn't like doing that kind of stuff, which is fine. We'll use M3, K3, or GLM 5.2, any other model, right? I don't know how GPT even feels about that. Speaking of which, we'll probably be using GPT because I got like, I don't know, 2 hours to use the reset. Wire, job scraping contract, blah, blah, blah. Which companies? This is a big one. All right. I think last time I did it before, and you could check in the projects folder, the global projects folder, on how I did it before. The memories, the agent turns or whatever, or the agent traces. I think the way I had it before is like I'm only interested in remote jobs. Um, so we're just going to glean from that. So yeah, we're gonna pull all the jobs, right? We're gonna pull them all, and then we're gonna create filters for remote jobs, right? Not hybrid, just fully remote, right? And then from there, then we can start working on that. But we at the end, in terms of what Ken's gonna be using, he wants to apply to um all remote jobs. Yeah, that was number two. Which companies? All companies. Um, the examples negative block includes junior. Keep it that way. Sure. I'm guessing that's kind of like whether it's junior or mid management or executive, so on and so forth. Yeah, all levels. Where does the configured instant live? So yes, so everything, uh, all of this is going to go in our job scraping. Um, no, this is we're not going to be creating a solutions folder for this. This is going to go into workflows, double underscore workflows, um, double underscore, or no, no, I don't even think is, yeah, double underscore workflows, job scrapings folder. But the only thing that's going in our solutions folder would probably be finished resumes tailored to a specific job. So we'll get to that. We're not going to worry about that now because that the job scraping workflow folder has it won't be dealing with that at all. So it's kind of I want to keep that separations of concerns division um, going because I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. So what it was asking me in our solutions folder here, what goes in here? So usually in my solutions folder, this is kind of like where your deliverable goes, right? So yeah, your video games, your websites, your applications, your API, whatever it is, whatever you're creating, a book, a resume, or an essay, it would go into this double underscore solutions folder, right? This is where your final product will end up. So our final product will be um, a resume and a cover letter, because why not? Just in case the company asks for it, we want to have it. Um, and yeah, okay. So let's see. The prior design survive, and it's exactly what you described. Collect all SQLite, built later, not portals. YAML that changed my plan, so let me lay it out. I don't really care about any of this, as long as it works as intended. Filter on location strings. For now, hybrid leakage is fine. Um, yeah, it's fine. Um, I want remote nationwide and hybrid only for like Florida. That's it. If it's hybrid and it's anywhere outside of Florida, I don't want it. But all remote jobs, all dedicated remote jobs, not hybrid, all dedicated remote jobs, I want them. I should have said no matter where they are. It'll be all right. Remote anywhere in the US keep, hybrid in Florida keep, hybrid anywhere else drop. Yep, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Right. And guys, if you don't know, Windows 10 and Windows 11 does have like the transcribe feature. All you have to do is press Windows H, the Windows key at the bottom left hand corner, plus the H key. Uh, it will bring up that little box at the top right hand corner that you see with the microphone. And then you could talk to it. Now, as far as like the grammar, it's not great, but that's okay because the agent will understand, right? It will correctly hallucinate. And I want to say 99% of the time, there was that one time where it hallucinated incorrectly, like terribly. Uh, but other than that, yeah, don't worry about grammar. All right. Dynamite. And then we can use kind of like as many instances of Codex to generate resumes. We'll do like a simple test, and then we're going to burn this remaining 30 something percent, and then we're going to use this usage that I have to use within the next 2 hours. If they haven't killed it already, I'm gonna be so pissed if they killed it. And it's gone. I waited too late. That's okay. That's all right. So instead of using Codex, we'll use our Olama models. This is why you should have options in terms of what models you're going to use. Okay. The important to find the old design, blah, blah, blah. Again, I don't care. The TSC title keywords is the core, but the market also says support engineer. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that, customer support engineer, any sort of remote sort of support roles. You could throw healthcare in there as well. Any and all, right? Any and all remote jobs. It doesn't matter what the keywords are, really. It doesn't matter. I want all of them across the board. Doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter the role. I want all of them. Rank are just listed. The old spec says rank short list. Okay, but in terms of like what we're going to rank, then yes, the technical support engineer, the MSP support engineer, technical analyst, technical support, any sort of technical roles, we're going to rank those above, or they're going to have priority in terms of, well, in other words, they're going to be at the top of our list when we sort of iterate through that list to create resumes, tailored resumes for each job. But yeah, we're gonna process all the roles, but our technical roles are going to be at the top, of course. Those are going to be ranked at the top. Okay. All right. That's a real change. No title filter at all. Location is the only gate. That's correct. One consequence I want to flag is already because the difference, blah, blah, blah. Dropping the title filter takes a short list, maybe a few hundred to plausibly tens of thousands. That is the point. Remote anywhere across 8K greenhouse. Yes, that is the point. That is the point. We want to apply to hundreds, if not thousands of places each and every day. That's the point. That is the point. And we want to get started mañana. So as soon as we set this up, we're gonna start creating our tailor-made resume and cover letter against the job description. We can have our our HackerRank repo sort of graded, and then we can keep adjusting based off of its feedback. And then once we have like a high enough grade, we could do a gauntlet loop. And then once we have a high enough grade, then uh, we would just go on to the next job. And then the automation phase, which would be separate, um, I really want to use Grokbot for that. I really do. I'm tempted because the Super Grok Ultra is $300, but it may be worth it if we can apply to 2,000 or more jobs a day because we are going to see an immediate return. Okay, next, dropping the title filter, customer service, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is correct. This is what we want to rank. Adjacent technical, everything else, yep, 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 short list, ready to write. So go ahead and let's write it. We don't really care about the technical aspects of how it's created, as long as it's created correctly and it's efficient, right? And it does what we need to do. And it's not really much, it's not really tricky on how this is going to go. Um, Basically, we're pulling in jobs from multiple feeds, from multiple companies, from multiple job aggregators. We're pulling that into a database, and for each job that we pull, we're going to create a resume and a cover letter for them. And again, like I said before, we're going to grade them against a given job description uh, via the HackerRank repo. And as far as that's kind of like right, the second step, right, grading and refining, and then the last step is, of course, filling out the application itself, and that's the hardest part, right? Because now you're talking about the automation, not only automation but also scraping, and then the automation, and then filling out the forms and clicking the buttons and dealing with like Cloudflare, bot protection, and stuff like that. This is where I think Grokbot would probably flourish because it uses its own virtual machine to fill out the application. And I haven't tested it out yet. And I wish the free tier was more than what they gave us, uh, which was next to nothing. But that's okay. All five providers are dependency free. They only import from within providers. Okay. That is all right. And of course, we can add more providers. We can use Fable for that. And Fable actually may have an issue in terms of like cybersecurity. Even though it's nothing to do with cybersecurity wise, it's still, scraping is seen negatively. Works 30,854 companies across 5 ASTs or ATSs, all fresh. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. right? And while it's pulling from there, then we can start working on other places as well. The greenhouse has almost 10,000. See, now you all see, right? Almost 10,000 lever, almost well, a little over 4,000. So let's say, so 12, 15, 27, 47. So we're talking almost 50,000 jobs. 50,000. Security controls, verify live, path, blah, blah, blah. Want me to build the ingest. Let's switch this to Fable. It may have an issue and downgrade us back to Opus 5. We'll see. If it doesn't pass Fable 5, it wasn't going to pass Opus 5.0, right? Because they kind of like have the same security thing. But it's okay because we did this with Opus 4.7 and they would downgrade us back to Opus 4.8, which is fine. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And like I was saying, when it when it sort of when it captures these jobs or ingest them into our portable SQLite database, then we could start working on the other aspect of it, right? So we're going to create our profile, our technical support profile, and we do have a different workspace for each profile. I think I want to probably consolidate all of them instead of, duplicating the same workflow 3 times. Um, Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Uh-oh. Did it clunk out? Oh, I just changed the model. Okay. Yeah. Ready to build. And please don't flag. Please don't flag. Please don't flag. Pretty please don't flag. All right. And how much money did we make so far? 2 cents. 2 cents so far. So again, this kickbacks.ai and rebates.ai is an ads platform. It just creates like a simple line right here, and you don't have to click to get credit for it, right? No reason why you should get paid for prompting. All right, so we're going to use Fable 5 here. We don't need to per se. I just want sort of cleanliness in terms of like the solution. We're definitely not going to be using Fable 5 for like the scraping. One, it won't do it for you. And two, even if it did, it would be overkill. You can use hell, we could use something like Opus 45 for that. I forgot how slow Fable is. So we're just waiting for it to create the file or even start it. I don't know if it's going to decide if it's going to flag me or not. Hopefully it won't. And we are going to be using the Herder Plus or Herder control plane to run all of our agents in. And so we will be using Olama models for that point, for that part. Okay, so it did create the file. Good, good, good. All right. We don't need, if Fable is going to try to download the jobs, we don't need to. We're gonna cut that. Well, we're gonna stop it and then switch the model back and then run it again. And I am using the terminal interface because it's just easier for me. I don't like dealing with Cloud Code Desktop. All right, so we did CD into our job scraping workflow folder. Another ingest holds skipping run. And it may be getting started. Okay. And let me go ahead and switch back. Yeah, I just wanted to switch the model back to Opus 5.0. It looks like you're getting ready to start like the job ingestion, ingestion, however you want to say it. Looks like you're about to start that, and we definitely don't need Fable for that. I probably should have. Well, no. Well, Sonic could be good enough. Sonic could be good enough for that. Well, Sonic should be good enough for ingestion. Okay, let's see. Right, stop there. Nothing was running when you interrupted. A call was bounded. 40 board probe, not the full sweep. Your call finished the bounded to confirm all five work in the end. Build, kick off the full sweep. Okay. Um, okay, so okay, we'll just talk this out. Okay, so I want you to do number one and number two. So we're going to keep the model Opus 5.0 for finishing the bounded provider probe. And then we're going to build the filter.mjs file. And then we're going to pause there so I can switch to Sonnet 5 so you can do kind of like the full sweep in the background um, for there. And then once you start that, and then we're going to, uh, and yeah, once you start that in the background, then we're going to switch the model again to Fable so we can start work on the Kenny's profile and wiring that portion up with the uh yeah, that portion of it. The reason why I cut myself off because if I were to say like rewriting the resume, then that may affect Fable. Fable, even Opus 5, is very sensitive. Even if you're not talking about anything hacking or anything. And that's their kind of like their way of coping with the um jailbreaks and stuff like that. Let's just make it really sensitive. So if they even hint at anything, uh, anything may be unethical, even if it's not. We're just gonna cut it short. All five providers confirmed working. Good, 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 good. The survey is exactly why I looked for things that would have broken. I guess I don't really care. Non-US remote is everywhere. You know, you know. Working remote, I've never worked remote from like another country or through another country. Let me say that. Maybe we'll add that later. Maybe, probably not. Contains remote pulls and jobs can and can't take. U.S. remote needs a positive U.S. signal or absence of a foreign one. We'll add that later. We'll add that later because we'll see. Because there may be some gems in there or some really easy jobs that may be low paying, but we can automate with like Rockbot or something like that. We'll see. Now the check the contract requires a classifier, blah blah blah. Let's get some music up in here because this is going to be a long session. Session going to be really long when we start getting to like start testing the job applications and stuff like that, and definitely like the automation portion. Let's see. Do we have Flax in here? No. Is it MP3? It is MP3. All right. And then we'll just use random. While this works, okay, turn this down a little bit. Ready for you to switch to Sonnet 5? Okay, yeah, let's switch. All right, let's get to work. So we do have it working in the background here. And let me just take a look at the thread here. I should have had it bounce out to actually. I have a request. Let's use Herder Plus for the poll job. We will be using Sonnet 5, Cloud Code CLI, and Herder Plus. We will be using Sonnet 5 YOLO mode, and Herder Plus needs to be visible. But yeah, I just want to see it work as we're going along, not as the background process. And so we'll see if it actually. So once it kicks that off, then we'll start. Because I just don't trust the background processes. They hang, they may not do anything. I just need to see it. It made real progress, 4,000 before it got killed and left a lock. Yeah, we'll delete that and just start over. And then we'll pull that off to the screen. All right. Okay. Let me move you on over here. And let's see if it gets to it. Launch but window not found. It'll get there. That's a known race problem. And that's okay. Let's switch the model. Back to Fable. Because Sonnet, their strength is not really in agentic stuff. Tool calling is okay, but we really don't need Fable. I could have done it with Opus 5.0, but that's okay. It's only like a few calls or whatever. And then we'll just switch back. Yep, exactly. And then open right on up. Game team. Don't need that. And you all can't see it. So let me bring it on over here. Close. Close. While it sets up the windowing and stuff like that. And we're waiting for it to attach. And you see where it says Herder workspace creates, so on and so forth, create working directory or current working directory, blah, blah, blah. And here it is, our job scraping workflow. This is what we wanted. I don't know why it has two windows, but that's okay. We'll see what it's for. And it's creating a script for it. Also, another reason why I want. Oh, this is a log. Okay, good. So not only are we seeing we have Cloud Code, we see a log on the here to see our poll job in real time. almost 80,000 postings. Okay. And it did use Sonnet 5. So that's what we want. Read the full ATS in Just Suite, blah, blah, blah. We probably should do this in a different session because Fable watching this is actually pretty good for us. And also, we had that separation of concerns in terms of this is our job scraper workflow, or yeah, job scraper workflow working. It is pulling the jobs in now. And so we're working on a different thread or a different work tree. Think of it as adding a feature. And this is going to be our creation of, yeah, we'll just keep it. We'll just keep it. Yeah. I'll check it when you want. You can start. Yeah, no. We're gonna use a different session for that because one session should not be doing multiple things. In my opinion, shouldn't be doing multiple things, especially for like large projects. And this is definitely going to be a large project. Let's go ahead and start our music again. All right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder called profiles, _ profiles. And then we're going to rename this to all right. And then where do I have it hiding? Let me go here. What is that? L? All right, I need to hear myself think for this one. Okay. All right. So for this project, ignore agents.md. Ignore that. We're using that. Well, actually no. Don't ignore. We are going to wire it up. So if you read agents.md, you'll get kind of like a lay of the land. We have another session that's fetching jobs. So don't meddle with anything with a job scraper workflows folder. What we're doing in this session is we're creating the profile for Kenny, and what I want you to do is with his resume, go ahead and create a markdown file and the double underscore profiles folder. This is where we will keep all profiles for all users. This is only going to be for Kenny, but in the future, if we want to share this repo with the world, then all they have to do is, create their repo or convert their repo from a Markdown or a DSX or a doc file into a Markdown file, and then place said Markdown file in the profiles folder, and then, once you want to do a job, and no, I haven't ironed all the details out yet, the very first thing they're going to do is pull the profile of the person that they want to sort of pull the information from. So here is the link to Kenny's technical support / technical support engineer resume. All right, and then we'll do this like so, and then we'll go from there. And then this is still going. 150,325. Now imagine if we applied to all those jobs in a day. Of course, we would need a way of kind of being able to tell if we applied to a job or not. Um, but yeah, I don't know what the corpus is. Corpus is just a document, documents with information in it. Oh, there's 36,126 boards, like job boards. 161,674 thousand postings. I am getting crazy errors in here. Um, that's okay though. We'll investigate the errors later. Okay, so we do have our profile here. So we go back to our project folder. You saw how fast that was, right? Um, and then our profiles. Are we still on Fable? Yeah, we are. Okay. And then here, and then here. All right, so our phone number is correct. Email is correct. Email is not correct, actually, is Kenneth J. Jefferson, 84. Please tell me that's not how I showed up in the. Oh my goodness. That's why I haven't been getting any of the emails. Oh my God. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's why you should always reveal. Kenneth J. Jefferson, 84 at gmail.com. Okay. Source resume. Okay. Oh, this is fine. Help desk analyst. Okay. Education, skills, certification. All right. All this is fine. Right. So now our profile is there. Yeah, we want to save that. We haven't. That's rough. That's okay though. You live and you learn. I think that could have just been for in the resume because I did it through Indeed, and Indeed, uh, you get your. I did get some responses saying that hey, we got your resume. Stay tuned. So we just haven't gotten a response yet. Okay. One thing worth flagging: agents that doesn't list a profiles folder in this folder map. Rule 4 says the project needs workflows routes. I left both alone since the job scraper session is active. And when you're ready, should get a profiles folder line. Um, I don't know if profiles should be pulled first. Maybe. We can brainstorm on that. But yeah, go ahead and add the profiles folder line to our ages.md file. All right. Where we at in our ingestion? Making real progress. It's running in the background. 36,126 boards remaining after resume skipped. 2,728 already. All right. Where was I? Added photo map plus a line under where things go. Same profiles are one markdown file per person converted from their resume. On whether the profile gets pulled first, happy to brainstorm whenever you want. The quick framing, it depends on what a job run looks like. If every run is great, tailor apply for one person against one job description. Pulling the profile first is a natural step one, but if the runs can be profile agnostic, um, and the profile is pulled at point, but not at start, say the word and we'll work through it together properly. Okay. Yeah, I do appreciate your input. You're right. Sometimes we are going to just pull jobs and not apply or even grade our resume against those job descriptions. And in that case, we wouldn't need to pull profiles. But uh, actually, no, I take that back because we're going to have a cron job pull the jobs every morning at 6 a.m. We don't have it implemented yet, but we will have it implemented after our initial ingestion is completed. So yes, profile will always get pulled first. Um, and then I want to say, well, since this is a dedicated sort of workspace for ICM workspace for um, job grading, then uh, I forgot my train of thought. But yeah, profile always gets pulled first. Always, always, always. Because the job ingestion gets it's automatic, right? We won't need to open up a session and do that unless either something went wrong or whatever. In which case, will explicitly say don't pull from profiles. Don't pull profiles. We're just doing like a job ingestion here. But since you already did that, so where do we go from here? We have our profile set up. The next step is uh, to kind of pull from our jobs ingestion and sort of start grading our resume from there. Which I don't think. Well, We'll wait until our job ingestion is done, because that's going to be a while. It may be an hour or two. So stand by until then. And again, I don't want to trip Fable, because if I was to say, we're going to modify a resume depending on the job description, it would trip Fable. I know this because I've tried to do it before. We'll just have one of our open source models, probably GLM 5.2, um, or whatever, right? And I may actually have to put money on Open Router for DeepSeek and say and do it that way. Uh, yeah, because the DeepSeek 4 Flash 0731 model, the July 31st updated model is 18 cents per million, which is ridiculous. Uh, but yeah, so once we run out of Olama credits, because this will take a lot, um, then I guess we could do it with Sonnet if Sonnet doesn't trip about it. Um, we could do it with Haiku as well. We could do this with Haiku. because we are going to have a grading system. Um, yeah. All right, back to music. So right now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for our job ingestion to get done. That's going to be a while. Oh, it is updating. It is updating. You just didn't. I just didn't scroll all down to the bottom. Yeah, there you go. It's working, guys. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and then I'll be back. All right, we're back. All right, let me do this, and then we can go back to that. All right. So now that this is done, check, check, check. Let me just making sure my audio levels is right. All right. Um. Well, first of all, let's see. I think we're done. And so what Fable 5 is supposed to do is double check the messages here and then clean up our herder plus. And then we kind of should figure out kind of like how to fetch the jobs. So we have our profile. We have a way of scraping the jobs. Do I want to put this in scraper or do I want to put this in fetcher? Done. Save state or state save the memory. Until next time. Let me see here, because this is all the same thing. And this is still polling, yes, but it's still the same information. Nothing has changed except for the time. Um, I wanted to come to the correct conclusion. Um, I think the resume writing, the scraping, not scraping, the fetching will be done in the resume writing phase. Um, yeah, workflows. We're going to set up. You know what? We're going to set up the resume grading phase first. Um, and then we'll do the resume writing phase last. Tear it down. And it will close out the workspace and then close herder as you see there. Now this is the default workspace that'll stay up. Ugh. Server's not running. Server isn't running. All right. So we can close that on now. Okay. Uh okay. So we actually was working on my profile as you were doing the sweep. We have our profile. Let's go ahead and actually work on the grading portion. Now again, this is going to be on our based on our hacker ranks. Actually, no, we're just going to use the repo outright. So this is going to be the hacker rank uh, repo in our double underscore references folder. Uh, and yeah, we can brainstorm on how we're going to implement it. But yeah, this is going to be that repo is going to be our grading strategy. And again, this will go in our resume grading workflow. Let's see where we at in usage, 3%. All right. All right. Shout out to the one person chilling out at midnight. And there they went. Explore hiring agent repo, clarifying questions, pull 2 to 3 grading. Right. So again, the purpose of this pipeline is to generate resumes and uh, um, cover letters that grade very closely to our to the job description. I didn't even get a chance to see how many jobs there were. I know there's almost 200,000, 200,000, almost 200,000 jobs, which is ridiculous. When we grade my resume, what should be the rubric we built from hiring agents scores the resume against a static role rubric. It never sees a job description natively. The workspace goal says grade them against a given job description. So we need to decide how to. Okay. So I was under the impression that's what this repo does. If it's not, that's fine. We can still have it as part of the pipeline. It's kind of like the first stage. We can make a dual stage where this is the first stage where we're grading the resume on like generic things or whatever the algorithm that this repo does against the a static role rubric, and then once it passes that, then we can grade that against our custom algorithm here. Um, Before we start building that solution, let's launch 10 web agents and see if there is an alternative um, in GitHub, or we can do like we could probably do like Google Dorking, where we truncate the website down to github.com, and then we can, I don't know, um, have like job. I don't know. Yeah, let's just do like the web agents, and then see if there's a solution we can do that specifically looks for grading applications or grading resumes against a given uh, job description. Or yeah, that'll be the first 10 web agents, and then the next 10, if we don't have anything for the first 10, if we don't have anything satisfactory for the first 10, the next 10 we can do is we can kind of uh, Google Dork or Google Search or whatever for like grading algorithms that we can incorporate ourselves. All right. So now we're building our resume grading sort of workflow here. Ugh. And then, of course, step 3 would be the resume writing and the cover letter writing, where we would and connect both the job fetching to the resume grading sort of thing. So once the resume has been graded, the deliverables will be, well, we could do, well, no. So, okay. So in my mind, the way I'm looking at it, as far as like what goes in the solutions folder, well, first of all, we're going to have a folder for each position. And then our deliverables are going to be a PDF for the resume, a PDF for the cover letter, and then a doc file for the resume and a doc file for the cover letter. So this way we can submit either. Um, All right, let's see. Okay, they're still running. That was just letting me know that they're running. This part, I don't know about the grading portion, but this should be the easy part. So I just found out like the repo that we got. Um, what is it called again? The job agent. La, 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 la. What is it called? Hiring agent. It's just a generic sort of grading scale. Um, Nothing specific to our job description. We need to grade our resume against a job description. If we can't find a repo that does it, then we can, do some deep research to create an algorithm or to find one. All right. Some nudge sent to same nudge sent to Web 10. Okay. And we also need to find out how like our SQL database stores jobs and stuff, but the agent take care of that as well. Web 10 dorking. I swear, I think I do think that Grokbot is probably gonna be our best bet. We'll see if we can get around it, but it's just so many websites with different formats. Um, we could probably do some deep research on like reviews on how Grokbot automates websites, and their reviews and stuff like that. Because if I'm going to make that kind of investment, then I do want a solution that actually works. Webpage report is in, it's closing, blah blah blah. Patterns worth stealing, extract and judge. Okay, well, the agent will figure it out. And then once we have our deliverables, then our automation. Actually, I want to for our solutions, we're going to have a markdown, a PDF, and a DLCX file, a Word document for resume, and a markdown and a PDF and a DLCX file for our cover letter as well. So the markdown file is going to be used to get data from and enter data into the forms. This way, we don't have to OCR uh, render text on a PDF and reduce variance with um, Word documents. Don't have to worry about that. We just have to read directly from the markdown file. And Fable, and as far as generation, I don't think we'll have to worry about issues with like grammar and stuff like that. We could actually no, because like the grading and stuff like that, I think the grading um will take care of that as well. I don't does Grammarly. I wonder if Grammarly has like an MCP service. I think I still have my student discount because students, at least when I was going to school, 2 years now, or 3 years, um, that it was free. Let me check on. I'll do that later. Um, I mean, we could just have the agent sort of do grammar checks and all the other stuff. No big deal. Um, yeah. Yeah, I forgot I got an interview today, and this is kind of like an initial interview. Okay, let's see. Is it done? So let's see. All 10 reports, wire what we own. Stage one hiring agent, hand authored TSC role bundle, generic role gate. Stage two, small grader and resume grading career ops, deterministic skill, cap layer, vocab extend, IT support terms, plus a TSC reshaped fork of the Alfreda rubric for the LLM layer. Two scores reported side by side, never blended. Regression harness copied from eval code, mostly assembly. Build the open gap engine. All 10 lanes agree. Nobody ships. Absorbency as is deterministic lane. That's already how it's structured. All right. Um, sure. Um, I don't want it to be specific to TSCs. Uh, but I have a concern. Um, I don't want our grading to be specific to TSCs because I am going to apply it to other positions with our profile. So if we could kind of, let's say, depending, and because I'm gonna share this with other users as well. So when they upload their profile, they mark down or their profile markdown to the profiles folder, and then they want to grade their resume against a given job description. Yeah, stage one would be kind of like the generic sort of grading, which is what I'm guessing our repo in the references folder offers, like keywords and stuff like that. I don't know how the grading works, so that's kind of like a black box. I don't care. Um, that's kind of like the stage one. The stage two grading would be how the resume matches up with the job description, right? It's job slash career agnostic, right? Now, however, that's graded, and we can do deeper research if we need to launch 10 more agents for those algorithms. But I don't want it to uh, just TSEs. Now, what I'm thinking, if you want to go down, okay, so let's do it like this. So we can have kind of like a profile, like a TSE profile that you can grade resumes against, right? So let's say if our workflow is job and career agnostic, um, we can fetch or we can create a profile for that sort of job, right? So let's say if I wanted to grade my technical support engineer resume against healthcare, a healthcare job description, right? The score would be much lower than it would a technical support or a technical support analyst or technical support engineer position. But it will still get a grade, and then whatever that profile is for that healthcare position, that remote healthcare position, because we're only doing remote positions. We can store that somewhere in our workflow that we can pull from. We could How do we do this? We could put this in our profiles folder, our double underscore profiles folder, and we can say like, and then within that folder, we can have like a people, we could do like, we can have an employees folder for the different people, and then within that employees folder, we can have like, Kenneth Jefferson, for this example. He has his own folder, right? And he can have a profile or multiple profiles if he wants in there. And then you could have another person in there, not in his not in his folder, profile folder. They would have like their own folder, and they're different. sort of resumes, right? So you don't want to. So let's say if you work in, if you do like customer service and you've done like claims, right? You don't want if you're going for technical support, you don't want your claims experience on there. It is relevant in the sense of servicing people, but it's not relevant in terms of like your day-to-day workflow. It's just very, very different workflows and mindsets, with the exception of the customer-facing stuff. So you can split that out into two different resumes, and then you can grade each one based depending on you know but then, like with the zooming back out from the employees folder, you can have one employees and then like employers, right? Not necessarily with a company, uh, but you could have it where uh, kind of like a small claims profile, right? And so you could do like, I don't know, background research on what typically jobs that job is looking for with that role, right? And then you can create a profile around that. And so now user has like their healthcare small claims profile markdown file, and then you can grade that against the healthcare small claims or large claims or disability claims or whatever, right? Or a secretary. Um, profile, and then you'll get a grade based off of whatever algorithm that we either find or develop ourselves. That's initially as a rough sketch. That's how I want that to go. Unless you have a better way of implementing it, I would love to hear it. All right. Let's turn this down a little. So it says here, unify the two targets. A role profile and a job description are the same kind of document. Yeah, a description of what the role of what a role wants. So the grader has one signature, grade, resume.md, targets. Okay, score report. All right. Where target equals a live JD. Oh yeah. Job description from the shortlist or a role profile from the library. Yeah, that's fine. One engine, zero career assumptions. Grading Kenny's TLC resume against a healthcare claims job description just works. Low score, as it should be. Grading against the technical support engineer role profile works the same way. No posting needed. Okay. So and we have here again going back to our folder structure. Double underscore profiles, and then within that we have employees, and then me in there. And then there's a profile.md file, and then we have our different uh, resumes and technical support claims, whatever. Identity, contact, his current file migrates here. Okay, multiple variants per person, claims, split out, role, profile library, career. Yes, yeah, roles. I like that. I'd call the second folder roles, not employers. Yep, that makes sense. What you describe, background research on what the job typically wants. Is a job family, not a company? Yep, you are correct. An employer's folder can exist later if you ever create company specific intel. Probably not, because it's just going to be too many companies. Especially if you have, one company, they may have a posting out on My Workday and another one on Lever. That I've seen that a couple of times. Whether career specific scope per stage, hiring agent black box agreed, it's pipeline. Um, one role bundle per job family and its roles config. Uh, okay. Deterministic lane, matcher from career ops paths on hard coded. Vocab packs to 90 token skill list becomes per domain data. I don't know. Don't quite understand stage 2 deterministic lane. But that's okay. Stage 2 LLM lane, generic rubric template, requires skills, coverage, experience relevance, quantified impact, gaps, mitigations. Yes, the JD or role profile supplies all the specifics. That's fine. Right. And then our deliverable will not be, how would our report look? Um, I suppose we can have a folder called dub_report. And then in that report, we can render that out to a PDF file. Um, multi-user falls out for free. Every path is an argument. Employee Kenny Jefferson, resume, tech support, target, job description / role. Nothing hard coded, which also fixes the flaw the audit found. Does the structure work for you? Yeah. I mean, I'm usually pretty easygoing unless it's something I absolutely need. And then we'll kind of run through several tests and see how it comes out. And if it doesn't work out, then that's okay. We'll just make those fixes then. All right. Shortlist row. Fetch JD from the posting URL at grade time. So I don't know what they mean by shortlist row. Um, I don't know what you mean by shortlist row. I'm assuming when you fetch a job from the database, from our sweep, it's formatted a certain way. I don't know how it's formatted, but I'm assuming that's what you're referring to. Okay, fetch job description body from the posting URL at grade time. Okay. The corpus only stores title, URL, location. This was the open question from job scraper not answered. Fetch on demand, paste as fallback. Okay, hold on. So we need to get kind of like a lock on what data we're getting from my database. One, do we have a URL? Well, we do have a URL. Never mind. So title, URL, and location. Um, Fetch job. Okay, I see it. Fetch the job description body from the posting URL at grade time. Do we not get the job description at sweep time? If not, that's fine. But I guess it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The problem is that you know it just causes more problems and more variance. Because I guess there's deterministic tools that we can go out and get it. Uh, and like now we have to use like Playwright CLI, which is fine, I guess. If you want to go down that route. But anyways, um, I just know Cloudflare is going to be an issue. So let's use if we have to use Agent Hands, well not Agent Hands, Agent Reach. Let's hold off on Agent Reach repo from now in our references folder. Well, let's see if we'll keep going until Playwright CLI is uh, no longer viable, and I don't know why it would be because all it's doing is taking a picture. But we could be blocked outright um, due to bot detection or whatever. Okay, or we can use Scrappling. Either one. I think we'll go with Scrappling first. If Playwright CLI as first option, Scrappling as second, and Agent Reach as third. All three are besides Playwright CLI, Agent Reach and Scrappling are in the references folder. Okay, it's annoying that we have to fetch the job description, but that's okay. I kind of get it because that you don't have to download or scrape a bunch of text from there. You don't have to scrape text and then clean it and then store it in database. We get like it's kind of like the front matter for the data. I'm babbling. All right. It's kind of like the front matter, kind of like a skill. It's only like a few sentences. So like here, the data that goes into the database is the title of the job, the URL, and the location of where it is, and then that's kind of like your front matter, right? And then if you want like the specifics, like job description and stuff, you have to go to the website. Got it. You're not bad when you landed on the right trade-off. And there's one fact that removes most of your variance worry. For most of our corpus, the job description body comes with the same ATS APIs the sweep already uses, plain JSON, no browser, no Cloudflare. Good. Greenhouse has a per job detail endpoint with full content lever and Ashby include the description in their posting. API is good. Workday's API carries job posting info. Only ICIMS and other odd cases need actual page scraping. So the chain becomes ATS. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Good, 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 good. All right. All right. I love how we're progressing along, right? We've been going for 3 hours, but it's not like we're not spinning wheels or anything. We're making great progress. This is actually the hardest part because this is the third step in the pipeline, and after this point, we'd have to create our deliverables, right? So what happens? What's the scoring that we're going to do? What we have to kind of set up our resume writing sort of pipeline or our nodes. And so if it fails, then we have to go back to the resume writing node, right? And so we can do that, and we'll continue to do that until Fable 5 rejects us, and then we'll probably go to Codex to finish it out. Can't believe I let that time reset expire. I'm so pissed at myself. Damn it, man. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. What's the song I'm looking for? I completely forgot about this song. We'll stay here. Doc written to design. Yeah, we're gonna approve. And if we need to make changes, we'll do it after testing. I don't want to get really too wrapped up into like implementation until we start testing. Um. All right. Sub-agent driven, of course. Let's live in some heavy metal. we're still waiting on this to cook. Mhm, mhm. God, LTX just came out, man. Like H3 had all the momentum, and then, damn. Let's see. This account needs to be tailored. It's been a while since I've been on it. Mhm. Metamuse. That's Facebook, right? On Meta? Mm. Uh-huh. I think we're just gonna have like a couple of like we're gonna use my basic resume and markdown format, and they will keep grading it, and then we'll clear the context and go again, clear the context and go again, just to make sure that it works, and then we'll add in the other feature. Let's see. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. It's been 4 hours, almost 4 hours. All right, guys, I'm gonna actually end it here because this is gonna take a while, and we'll continue. We'll continue when we'll continue with the resume writing portion later on today. All right, I'll see you all then. Good night.